Hey everyone, John Cannon with Cannon Associates. As many of you know, myself and my associate are JAG attorneys for the Oklahoma Army National Guard. We handle a lot of military issues, military defense, family law, and we've had a number of questions recently about domestic violence and what impact that can have on custody, military service, possession of firearm, and other things. So unfortunately, that's a topic that we're going to be covering today. So if you know of anyone that's going through the issues of domestic violence, going through issues of divorce, issues of custody, please feel free to share this video with them and hopefully it'll answer some of their questions. So let's get right into it. Well, as they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Unfortunately, the opposite can have the opposite effect. As many of you have seen or heard in the news, the instances of domestic violence and marital discourse have gone up during this time of pandemic. It's an unfortunate fact that some people are facing at this time. So I want to talk about some of the issues that can come from that and what could be done to address them. So first off, domestic violence is an unfortunate fact of our community. I'm a former domestic violence prosecutor, handled those cases on every side for a number of years. And one of the things that's an unfortunate result of someone being arrested for domestic violence at this time is that they will be held for at least 48 hours in county jail. Now, conditional bond, the judges, defense attorneys are doing everything they can to get people out of custody at this time, try and protect them from the exposure of being in tight quarters with multiple people with the issues and concerns of COVID-19 and the current pandemic. Unfortunately, with domestic violence accusations or charges, if someone is arrested, they'll be required to remain in county jail for 2 days at least. At that point, they could seek to bond out of jail. Next, the issue of divorce and what implications that can have. Well, currently in most of the counties, we're not able to get things rolling in front of a court. However, you do have the ability to file a divorce. You do have the ability to file for an emergency order concerning custody. We've seen cases where the judges are allowing emergency custody hearings where there are domestic violence allegations or events. So there is still the opportunity, if you're the victim of domestic violence, to seek assistance from the court, to seek an emergency order. We can get copies of the police reports, or you can seek copies of the police reports and go to the court and seek to have emergency custody. So when that person who would be the defendant in that domestic violence action is released from jail, you will be able to maintain the separation between yourself, your child or children, and that individual for the time being, even though otherwise access to the courts is pretty limited right now. And then next, that kind of feeds into the issue of custody. So child custody, yes, for our clients, for all family law attorney clients across the state, attorneys are having a difficult time getting in front of judges right now. However, like I just stated, emergency custody hearings can still take place. So if you have a family member that needs to access the court, if you have a matter that needs to go in front of the court and it is an emergency with your family law attorney, or if you seek to do it on your own or pro se, you'll be able to get in front of a judge and be heard. So that's an important thing to keep in mind at this time. Next, the issue of a protective order. So across the state, in all the district courts, you have the ability to seek an order of protection to hold a spouse, domestic partner, someone that qualifies under the statutory relationships, to get an order of protection against that person for the time being. The courthouses typically are closed for in-person appearance. However, you can still file things online. You can still access the applications for protective orders and file those through the district court where you live. That protective order can remain in full force and effect when it is filed until you can actually go to a hearing. So that's a protection that you can be afforded. On the other side of the V in that matter, if there's an order of protection against you, you need to abide by its terms right now. So you want to make sure that you aren't violating that order. You want to make sure that you're abiding by that presumptive order until you have the opportunity to appear in front of a judge with or without counsel and have your day in court and be heard as to why it's an invalid order. One of the things to keep in mind is when that protective order is in place, regardless of the validity of it or not, if you possess firearms, you need to get rid of them for the time being. I don't mean go sell them all down. You don't have to give away your grandfather's shotgun, which I certainly wouldn't want to do. But you do need to make sure that they're out of your possession. So a trusted friend that you can have store them in their gun safe, take them to a location that's outside of your possession and control, because that can result in a couple of things. One, if law enforcement finds out that you have an active protective order and you're in possession of those firearms, you could seek some real repercussions. One, you could have charges or be arrested for that possession of firearm. Two, those charges could be in state court or even federal court, which carries serious punishment potentials. We have clients that are facing charges based on possession of firearm just for protective order, unrelated to any conviction, any felony. So it's important to keep that in mind. Last but not least, on this video, gonna dive into the effect of this on military members. So if you are a service member or former service member and you have an accusation of domestic violence against you, whether it's been proven in a court of law or not, to a judge or to a jury, there's the potential that your spouse will be able to completely take away your right to your retirement for the time being. So the military, in an effort to rightfully so protect service member spouses, still give them access to the military retirement benefit. There's a potential, if they act upon that as a service member spouse, if there's an accusation of domestic violence, they could take your complete right to military retirement away. Something that myself as a military member, my associate, and many of you out there that are service members, that's an important right and interest that you have. So you want to make sure that you take appropriate action to protect that interest if somebody is going to threaten it, whether it's valid or not. I hope that this video has addressed some questions that you have. We're trying to hop on every day to answer questions that a lot of clients, potential clients, are coming to us with. We just want to give you this information. Hopefully it can help you in evaluating what's going on with you, a family member, or a loved one, and help you navigate what to do in the courts, especially at this time. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot us a message. I'd be happy to answer it. Additionally, you can find us the ticker tape here below, our Facebook page and YouTube, where we're trying to post lots of useful information to help you through these times and always. Thank you, and I hope this finds you and yours well during this time.